diagnosed as bipolar. I've been diagnosed as bipolar. Go get on some kind of like medication, and I need to go to therapy. I need to be properly medicated. So
I mean, all right. So,
all right, guys, it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too good for Johnny. Now, I didn't think that I would be here today. I'm going down in a couple hours, and this is from the most recent interview with Alex Novell on his ongoing documentary with Johnny Somali. Now, when I heard this part from Hank, there's just something that reminded me of. There's just something that reminded me of when he's doing this part.
So, like, still,
it reminds me of Arrested Development. You guys like that show? Like this part with Job? Maybe it's a bit quiet, who can say?
Okay.
This is Hank.
So should
Just need to quiet down, Hank. Quiet down. Now, what this is from is, like I said, this is from Johnny Somali's stream, and it started to dawn on him that he actually could be going to prison. And this is what we call the bargaining stage in the cycle of grief. If we go to our chart of the grieving process, first is the denial. The denial sets in. It's just a fish. I just spilled some noodles. I just spilled some noodles. What are you talking about? It's just a fish. I'm going to be laughing out of here. I'm going to be laughing. Didn't work. The anger starts yelling at people, starts harassing other people like Slightly Homeless, even though Slightly Homeless is a POS in his own right. He starts anger like, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to start drunk streaming in the middle of the morning and harass people in their egg shops. The anger. Now it's the bargaining stage. Johnny has started to realize that with that fifth charge being added of the revenge sexual images, got to try and be careful here. This is going to be a short stream, so we're going to try and keep it above the level for YouTube. He started to realize that there's a very real prospect that prison is on the table. And this comes after a couple of days ago when Legal Mindset pointed out that with the fifth charge, the revenge images charge that he did of him deep French kissing, is what they call it? Deep French kissing? I got a bit of a lisp today. Oh my goodness. Of a Korean, which is a crime in Korea. And not only is it a crime, he is already a convicted criminal because he is, well, he's still waiting for his sentencing, but he has pled guilty to 3 other crimes, amongst others I assume are coming as well. So, like I said, to have a bit of a backstory, Alex Novell is a guy that did a Mr. documentary, as well as some other documentaries, and he's currently in Korea filming this documentary. So there's this Johnny Somali stream on Party, which is the last site that is actually accepting him at all. He did another 2-hour interview, and I'm going through this myself and finding parts about it. So we might do a longer in-depth stream on Monday or Tuesday when I get back from my weekend activities. But our boy, 15 Minutes of Shame, put up a nice, quick and easy 14-minute video. Now, it only took us 2 hours to get through 20 minutes last time. So we'll see where we go from this one. Be sure to like the stream. This is an odd time stream. I know there was dinosaurs yesterday. We're just playing some video games. I typically don't stream at this time, and I know it's pretty late, but I wanted to get this out because I won't be able to come back for a couple days after this. So let's go through it and listen to our boy, 15 Minutes of Shame. You should be liking his video and subscribing to him, by the way. He said he's got a goal of getting to 100,000 subscribers before Johnny Somali goes to prison, which is pretty ambitious. That means he's got like 3-4 months to get another 50K subscribers. I mean, when you got a dream, you got to dream big. So good for him. All right, let's get back into this.
I feel like Kanye, bro. I feel like they try to kill me. I want to go back home.
All right, so
he wants to go
Johnny
back.
Somali is panicking because behind closed doors in his not-so-secret Discord, he claims he's not going to do a single day in prison.
Right. Ridiculous. My lawyer is laughing. Some idiots post something in my VC chat. Now I'm going to prison. So he's talking about, I believe, the images. Now, he rebroadcasted those. That's the important part. Good luck. I am a United States citizen. Being a United States citizen does not give you license to commit crimes in other countries. Americans have been executed abroad for just drugs in Asian countries. The Asian countries are very serious about drugs in particular. And Johnny is not winning any favors, and the embassy's not helping him. They've already contacted the embassy. They said they're not going to help. They've already contacted Marco Rubio to say, he's wearing a Trump hat. You got to save him. It's not going to happen. He's going to take his licks. Now, I think that the most likely is definitely like a big fine and deportation. And he's already spent 6 months, or I think longer, right? No, it's has he been in Korea for over a year? Johnny claims that he was in January, but I don't know if it's been that long. But he's been in Korea for a long time, and that's his early life. Like, if you're like 40 years old or something, and you spend a year in a country, that's like not that much of a big deal. If you're 25, or you're like a young 20s or something, and you spend a year in another country where you can't work, you can't develop your social skills, your business skills, or even your any earning potential, that's a big portion of your life, your early life, that you're never getting back. But let's continue.
Because he's a U.S. citizen, but
not gonna
deep
happen.
down, he knows that he's screwed. He tried to talk to the embassy, it didn't work. And now he's going with another strategy, which is the bipolar defense. Basically, he's laying down the groundwork to try to get away from these charges by pleading mental illness.
Now, this is a really weird thing for Johnny to say on stream, because in previous streams, he's actually already talked about how he's going to try and plead mental illness to get out of this. That's not going to work, especially when you broadcast all this. The Koreans are paying attention. They're watching this. This is going to be added. Well, I mean, the prosecutor's going to see this. The judge is likely tuned into this. He seems like he's a pretty sharp guy. If you claim you're going to use mental illness or bipolar as an excuse, and then you go and do it, that's premeditation. They know that you're doing it. It's just ridiculous. He thinks he can get away with it. Which makes it very funny that he's going through with this and streaming his own interviews, because he's giving away his strategy. Now, this Alex Novell guy, he's a bit of a snake, in my opinion. He's like, I talked to him on Twitter a little bit after I said that he had the smoothest brain takes in his interview, and I stand by that statement. And he was like, have you seen my other documentary? And I was like, well, not yet, but I'll go check it out. So I did watch it. I watched his Mr. Bass documentary, and he did do similar things. He likes to buddy up. He glazes people. He gets into them. And he gets them to say weird stuff. But I don't think he's actually very good at making a proper documentary. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Alex Novell's very good at editing. And I think that his video was very entertaining. And of course, by injecting himself into the drama, when he got attacked by Mr. Bass, now he's got a permanent scar on his face because of that, because Mr. Bass hit him in the head with a selfie stick. It's good reality television. You know, it's good entertainment. It's like the real world MTV tier stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's very entertaining. But for a documentary, which typically has like a more informational point of view, I think that Turkey's Tom breakdown of Mr. Bass was a lot more succinct and a lot more well-researched. But I'm going to review Alex Novell's Johnny Somali short film documentary, whatever he wants to call it, when it comes out. And we're going to go through and see how honest he is, because it sounds like he is actually a bit of a Johnny Somali fan. Now, of course, I think he's been trying to hint to people that he's actually not that stupid, but you never know. You never know. He also seems like he's a little bit upset that people aren't taking him more seriously because he was seething, and he kind of embarrassed himself a lot on Twitter with exposing Andrew's DMs. Now, this may be because he's trying to make himself look stupider so that he can relate better to Hank and Johnny Somali. We don't know. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. You said that to somebody in the cafeteria at the college, and someone called the police because of that?
Oops, sorry, that's the wrong video. This is, we want the 15 minutes breakdown. Like I said, I'll take this apart later, but I don't have time today. Just this is probably like an hour-long stream or something.
He's trying to convince the court that he is not fit to stand trial. And that's why he's doing these interviews. He appears very sober, very normal during these interviews, and it's a contrast to his insane crash outs. This morning, he had a very long interview with Hank and Alex Novell. I chopped down the interview to under 20 minutes. That way, it's more digestible for you guys, because you don't want to listen to this guy talk for too long. But without...
Now, this is true. It's pretty hard to get through this video, but... 50 Minutes of Shame does a really good job getting things down to 20 minutes, 15 minutes, but he does leave out some important things, which I want to talk about later. But like I said, I need to go back and clip it myself and then kind of organize my thoughts a bit.
Further ado, let's get started.
Johnny, do you think that you can take to prevent this kind of stuff from happening?
I think I need to stop drinking alcohol. I think I need to slow down my alcohol intake. I feel like that I already have a problem with impulse control because I've been diagnosed as bipolar. So I feel like when you're drinking alcohol, that's like, or taking any kind of stimulant, that's really going to fuck with your impulse control.
Well, first of all, Johnny should not be taking any stimulants whatsoever because those are illegal in Korea. Second of all, saying you're drunk is not a defense for crimes. If you get drunk and drive and get behind a wheel, drive someone over, you can't say, well, my driving was impaired because I was drunk. You made the decision to come to Korea with the express purpose of harassing people to get attention and to get money. And then you willfully chose to drink so that you could, maybe loosen up and be more entertaining and get a bit crazy. And also because you were being paid to drink in some of these shots, like the fire sale shots, like $3 shots, which is insane, actually. It's really quite bad for you to do that. But that's not going to be an excuse. And I don't think the Koreans are going to buy this bipolar defense. Armin with a 20,000 IDR says, weekend afternoon stream is great for the goal. We hit the first goal, which is just one chat. Now we'll go up to the, the cabbage farm goal. Thank you very much. Yeah, you always get like a different crowd of people when you do like an afternoon. Like for me, it's afternoon. I think for Americans, it's like late night or whatever. It's nice to mix things up and give people a chance to participate. Because a lot of people on the replay crew, they don't get the chance to see the live. So it's nice to kind of have a bit different.
As well, I need to work on abusing substances. I need to go back home and go get on some kind of like medication, and I need to go to therapy. I need to be.
This is the bargaining, remember? He's in the stages of Greece bargaining. He's struggled to find ways to escape from this. He's saying, look, okay, I did something bad, but it's not my fault. If I go back to America, I promise I'll do therapy. I promise I'll get on antidepressants. I promise I'll go to a psychiatrist. No, he's not going to do this. If he gets out of Korea, he's going to go right back to nuisance streaming in another country. We know this because he's already done it once. When he was in Japan for like 6 months or something, went back, immediately started nuisance streaming again. So he doesn't learn from his mistakes. This is the only time he might actually be held accountable. Now, while I think that the things that Johnny Somali has committed in isolation are not worthy of prison time, like he did harass an old woman, obstruction of business, public obscenity, like all these things. There's a multitude of things. We might go through them later. While I think individually, if a regular tourist committed those crimes, I don't think that'd be worthy of jail time. Because Johnny Somali is specifically going out committing these for money, if they give him a fine, which would be the regular and I think appropriate penalty for this sort of crime, it's not really a penalty at all. It's a business expense. If he's making, and by Johnny's words, he said he was making $1,000 a day in super chats, nuisance streaming in Japan, and he was there for 30 days, $30,000, as well as a $10,000 kick deal. If you get paid $40,000 a month for making people's lives miserable who are just trying to do their jobs, or they're just like old people, or just like people that are trying to be friendly, and you're taking advantage of them. If you get fined $10,000, that's not a fine. That's not a penalty. That's a business expense. This is why Johnny needs to have a penalty that is appropriate to what he's actually doing. And it seems like jail time is the only thing he's going to understand, because all he's thinking about is those dollar bills after he gets out of Korea and can go back to full-time streaming.
Able to be properly medicated so I'm not so impulsive and not care about my life, I feel like.
Medication from a neurologist, not a psychiatrist.
Now, Hank thinks he's like a big brain. He's like, I think that I've heard that Hank was he's like the grandson or the son of a very famous prosecutor in South Korea. So he tries to do a lot of, he tries to pretend and role play as a lawyer, and he thinks that he's very smart, but every time he's tried anything, he's just been totally felted. So he's trying to correct him and be like the expert here. Not going to work. I don't think it's going to work, Hank.
Just whatever can, I don't know, because I have my highs are super duper high. When I go mania and manic, I'm super fucking, like, I don't care about anything.
Exactly.
In my life. I feel like I have a God complex.
There's a brain.
I feel like nobody can punish me. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
There's a brain chemical imbalance. You gotta go see.
No, it's not. Johnny has shown that he is, like, people criticize me when I said that Johnny was intelligent because he had a finance degree. I don't mean he's a super smart boy. I mean that he's not like a, I have to be careful with what I say here. He is not someone like World of T-Shirts. World of T-Shirts does not quite understand what he's doing. He is a real case of someone that has mental difficulty and is being abused by people like Mr. Based and the people that watch him. But again, World of T-Shirts does hold accountability for his actions. But he has a very real psychological condition and impairment. Johnny Somali has shown through both his studies and when he's doing these interviews, his presence of mind, that he understands what he's doing wrong, and he understands that if he causes trouble, he can profit from it. He's in full knowledge and in full control of his faculties while he does these acts, which means that it's not because of the alcohol. It's not because of bipolar. It's not because he's on stimulants. It's because he knows he can make money if he harasses people that don't deserve it.
I'm like, they try to kill me.
Not a psychiatrist.
I feel like Kanye, bro. I feel like they try to kill me 50 fucking times. They try to.
Now, Johnny Somali, he likes to say that he's a victim. This is his new angle, that he's just a poor victim and that the Korean hate mob is out to get him. Johnny Somali has done physical threats and SA threats to female streamers in public when it suits him. He has no problem with physical violence if it benefits him. He threatens people. He's given death threats to people attending his court case. He recently said that he was going to get acid. He was going to make acid and throw it in the eyes and permanently blind people that were going to see his court case in South Korea because he'd be able to sneak it past a metal detector. Now, is there any validity? Is there any real threat behind these? No, of course not. But he has no problem with using physical threats of violence, death threats, or SA threats when it suits him. So it's just very precious that he's going to complain about this.
Deplatform me 100 times. They try to murder, literally try to kill me. How many times people try to kill me?
Many.
And I'm still alive. Like, maybe that gives you some kind of God complex.
I don't think anyone's actually tried to kill him, but they have harassed him and they have punched him in the streets. And I can't condone these physical acts of violence, but they are very, very funny. And I can't pretend that I don't feel a sense of schadenfreude when I see it happen. But I can't condone it. Let the cops do this. Let's not make him like a big special martyr or anything. Just let the process work. It's doing its job quite well, and it seems like it's going to be over for him pretty quickly.
I don't want to die, of course. Like, I have a family. I have brothers and sisters. I have siblings. I have a mom and dad.
Now, his family doesn't care very much about him, except for his mother. And this is kind of a sad little thing that's going to come up in the interview, but it's nice to see that he does have a good mom. But your mums can only do their best, right?
I want to go back home to them. I have a future, and there's things I want to accomplish.
Does he have a future? If you think he's got a future, press 1. If you think it's ogre, it's all ogre now, press 2 in the chat.
You know what I mean? I want to have a wife. Hank doesn't believe in children, but I want to have a wife and kids one day.
So
I'm
I find
going to press X to doubt on that Johnny wants wife and kids, but okay.
hilarious that he's comparing himself to Kanye West, another complete degenerate. Makes great music though, don't get me wrong. I love his music.
Is Kanye West music actually good? I've certainly heard one of his songs before, but I don't know the names of any of them. I've never really thought he was actually very good. Like, he seems like he's overhyped. But yeah, Kanye West has actually got some sort of very weird condition. It's like, I guess, schizophrenic paranoia or something. The Kanye evolution is very, very bizarre. But that's another story for another day. Who can say? Who can say? Chill Station with a 5 says 2. It's over for Johnny Somali.
But the guy is nuts. Total basket case. The difference, though, is that Kanye West is legitly mentally ill, and Johnny Somali just does this for clout. And there's a massive difference between the two.
Do you talk to your siblings?
At this point, no.
Oh, that's actually like sad. We're gonna play the sad violin music if I actually had it loaded up. His family has basically disowned him, according to what I've read, and but he does mention that he talks to his mum still. In the previous interview, he announced to the world that his father found out about his shenanigans because his dad was at work working a real job, and then one of his colleagues brought his phone to him and he said, "Look at this guy causing trouble in Japan." And that's when his father, and the guy didn't know it was that guy's son. He was just like, just check out this random guy. And that's the moment his father learned that Johnny Somali was a good-for-nothing nuisance streamer in Japan, causing international incidents.
Not at this point.
Very sad.
I
Imagine that as a dad.
Probably last time I talked to them was a year ago before I went to Israel.
Why don't you talk to them anymore? Okay.
The reason I don't talk to my siblings is I feel like I'm not a good role model to them. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I feel like I can change and be.
But I think he's trying to redo the narrative here. He's like, well, I don't talk to them because I'm not a good role model. No, it's they don't want to talk to you because you're an embarrassment.
Better and be more successful. And if I was like one of the, I have a little brother, I have little sisters. You know what I mean? I wish if I was like, if my YouTube career was going good, if my Twitch or Kick career was going great, you know what I mean? And I was one of these motherfuckers that are like XQC level or like, you know what I mean? Financially, if I'm a millionaire and doing great, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm more inclined to be around them, but I feel like
this is kind of sad as well because he's realized, well, not that he realized, but he thinks that it's just about the money. You can be a streamer that doesn't go around harassing people. And I have my problems with XQC as well. specifically in the freebooting that he does for a lot of people's channels. And, you know, we're reacting to something at the moment. You might say it's the same thing. But no, when you play someone's content without their permission, you just walk away and then you completely replace it in the algorithm, that actually does take it away from them. Now, Johnny doesn't seem to understand that you can be a streamer and you can be successful, or even not just streaming, just any content creation, or even just a real job. He doesn't realize that he could just do this without causing problem to like little grandmas that are just trying to do their best. Like, I still think it's insane that Alex Novell didn't push back on any of these things. Like when he says like, well, I was eating noodles in a convenience store and I spilled some drinks or something. Drinking alcohol in a convenience store, as I understand it, is actually now being made illegal in Korea when Johnny was doing this. So the old lady that was telling him to stop, she was doing that because that's her legal requirement to do. Now, you can buy drinks in the convenience stores and take them outside so that the premises are no longer liable for it or whatever. I believe that's what typically Koreans do, but I don't spend that much time in Korea, so I don't know for sure. So this woman was just doing her legal right and also just trying to keep her business open. And then Johnny Somali would start spilling alcohol and noodles all over the table and all over the side and just literally pouring shit out so that she would have to clean it up after him, because that's how he wanted to get back at this, because he's so spiteful that he just wanted this old lady that's just trying to work a business. Like, it's like, I think it was like 11 p.m. or something. She's old, you know, she's probably on minimum wage or something. And she just wants to be home, but she has to work. She has to provide for her family or whatever. And Johnny just is like, you know what? No, I'm going to make your night completely ruined so that I can get some more money on Power Chat or whatever it is. It's absolutely disgusting. And that's why people are so invested in seeing Johnny get what he deserves.
I'm kind of like on a train wreck path right now, which I'm trying to take it off derailment and go the right way and try to clean up. I don't think it's too late for me. I feel like if some of these platforms let me back.
Okay, you guys got me. Okay, I misspelt Loom. Okay, good for you. Good for you guys. Oh, yeah.
Might let him back online just to take him away from party. I mean, they did unban Jack Doherty, but then he got banned like a week later. But for all the other platforms, I don't think so. Next, he is going to continue to talk about his bipolar disorder. And once again, this is just damage control. He's really trying to avoid this prison sentence. And I'm sure you guys have been following up, but he just...
There's actually a fun moment here where he kind of lets loose that he thinks that prison's in his future as well. So look out for that. I'll replay it when I hear it.
Recently got charged with a 5th charge, and this one carries mandatory prison time. So that's why he is literally panicking, losing his mind.
Because people think that I'm insane too. And I feel like I've been diagnosed as bipolar too, like with mania, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In America by psychiatrists. Yeah. Have you went to psychiatrists in America?
Even if this is true, and frankly, I don't believe this, but even if it is true that he's been diagnosed with bipolar, that does not give you license to go commit crimes and harass people in other countries. You're still liable for everything that you do. We all have our own problems. Okay, some people are quick to anger. Some people are not good speaking in public. Some people are shy. Some people are overly confident. We all have these things in our life that make interacting with other people harder. But part of society is having control of yourself so that you can actually function as a contributing member to society. But that's not what he wants. He wants to be a parasite that goes from country to country to country, making people's lives miserable for money. And then as soon as he gets kicked out, he does it again. He did it in Korea. I did it in Japan. He tried it in Korea, but they stopped him. And how's it going, Trucker Rob? Howdy? How's it going? Hope you're having a good day out there. I guess it's like, is it Saturday or is it Friday in America? I'm not sure. I think it'd be like early morning Saturday, right?
Have you ever thought your family wanted you to go? Because that's why my mom was like, my mom noticed my behaviors, and that's what made me go to psychiatrist. And that's what they told me. That's when they prescribed me Seroquel. And
But psychiatry is bullshit.
This is like, why would you say that? Why would you say that, Hank? Is Hank just tired of Johnny's shit? Does he want Johnny to suffer? He's like, well, okay, look, this is our only strategy. We claim bipolar and we claim that we're going to get treatment. Also, psychiatry is bullshit, but we are going to go get a bipolar diagnosis from a Korean doctor because we're going to take that to the court and try and use it to plead our case. Please, judge, psychiatry is bullshit, but they also said I'm clinically insane. What do you mean by that, Hank? Is he realizing it? You can see on his face. He's like, it's at this moment he realized he fucked up.
Difficulty apologizing, has an impulsivity issue, has unmedicated bipolar, and is drinking a lot. That's kind of a perfect storm for controversy, but also for like repeat offense of the same things.
So in the next clip, Johnny Somali is making it so obvious. He's saying that he's going to go to a psychiatrist in South Korea to try to get diagnosed with bipolar and that it will help his case. I mean, this guy...
I really don't think so. I really don't think the Koreans are going to buy this. Because he might have been able to get away with this if he did like if it was just one or two things. But he went out, he got arrested, he committed these crimes, he pled guilty to these crimes. And then did he learn from his mistakes? No. He went back and did it again. And over the last few days, he's been committing additional crimes. Now, will he get offenses for them? It seems like he might not need to even be charged with those because he's already got enough. And they might just decide that like they did in Japan, they only needed one charge to get him out of the country. It's like, well, why didn't Johnny Somali get charged with trespassing? Well, they only needed to get him on one thing, which was causing obstruction of a business and nuisance streaming in the restaurant to deport him and also take away like 3 to 4 months of his life in a Japanese jail. And now, unfortunately, the Koreans don't detain him during this time, so he's able to wander around the street and still produce content. And he is making some money. I'm not going to lie. He is getting people's donations because they want to. There is two groups of people, and they're quite small group. There's the group of people that pay him because they want to see him go crazy and suffer more. And then there's the people that actually support him, which is frankly insane that people do. He also has an alcohol addiction. It doesn't, I mean, maybe, but it doesn't matter. It's not really relevant. You can't just, oh, sorry, judge, I beat up this old lady. I threw shit on the ground and told her to clean it up, but I do have a drinking problem. That doesn't track. But you are right. He does have a drinking problem.
Is just laying out his whole legal strategy for the world to see.
What we're gonna do is we talk to, because I have two lawyers. I have a public defender and I have a paid lawyer that's helped.
Does he? I kind of doubt that he does, but I guess there's no way to prove this. Typically, maybe he does. Maybe he has someone that's working very cheaply for him, or maybe he's just referring to Hank and he's paying him in. Well, he's doing. They're trading work for work. We'll say.
Helping us with other cases. The public defender said it's a good idea and that me and Hank are going to go to a psychiatrist pretty soon and bring the paperwork. We can go to a psychiatrist here in Korea and bring them the paperwork of that. And hopefully he said it can help my case because I am diagnosed as bipolar too in America. You know,
So in the next segment, he says that Hank is his designated legal guardian, believe it or not.
Any kind of mail if I do get sent in prison.
Oh, he said it. If I do get sent to prison, look at his face. It's now in his mind. It's now living rent-free, the possibility that he's not going home so soon. Let's listen to that again. Let's listen to that again. The suffering.
Designated legal guardian, believe it or not.
Any kind of mail if I do get sent in prison. This is my designated, to the Korean immigration, you're my designated legal guardian, right?
Yes.
So Hank owns Johnny's ass at this point. He actually owns him. And when he goes to prison, maybe Hank will collect some of those super chats for him instead. But he's already thinking, it's already living in his mind. The possibility of prison is just across the horizon. And he even talks about border hopping, which is not a good idea, but it'd be very funny to see. Like Johnny on the lam in North Korea would be very entertaining. Unfortunately, we wouldn't get to see any of the streaming of it because they're not going to have the cell phone network that South Korea does. And they're also going to probably shoot him pretty quickly if he does jump.
He's been to the immigration offices many times with me. So if I do go on the run or go jump the DMZ, jump the border, and disappear, this is actually my legal. He's my official legal guardian.
There's no border to jump. Like this is complete, complete cope. The only border that South Korea shares in the land is North Korea. So the only options by sea. So if he jumps over the border of North Korea, he gets shot by the North Koreans. Or just taken to prison or work in the North Korean. Well, I guess they don't even have food over in North Korea. So it'd be like the rock mines, I guess. He'd be pounding away at the rocks. The only other options to escape South Korea would be by boat. So we'd have to pay like a boat to smuggle him across, but then you'd have to smuggle into China, which is not a great idea, or into Japan, which is even a worse idea. Maybe he'll go live in the wilderness. Who can say? That'd be very funny to see Johnny Somali Bear Grylls adventure in the Korean wilderness as he's trying to live on the lam in the wilderness. Maybe he like takes a boat over to from Jeju to Tsushima or something. That would be very funny because he would die of exposure very quickly. Although it's starting to get warmer, so it might last a couple of days. But he would be eaten by the animals and he would run out of food. It would be entertaining, but it's just going to be prison, Johnny. It's just prison.
Korea.
In the next segment, he complains that the police in South Korea is way too active and it's pretty much a business over there to file charges on people, and compares it to a DMV.
If you go to the Korean police station,
Yeah.
inside, it looks like a DMV. There's literally plastic walls. Like you take a ticket, there's like 20 seats, rows, cops just sitting there. What happened to you? What's your complaint? What's your
Wow, imagine going to a government organization and you get good service. what a nightmare, hellish landscape South Korea is. I went to the police station and they actually listened to my complaint. Now, there are a lot of people filing complaints against Johnny that don't have standing to do so, which is unfortunate because it kind of just muddies the waters a little bit. But the actual companies like Lotte World or the bus companies that do have standing to file against Johnny, they're also being encouraged by people to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because they do have a legitimate grievance against him.
What's your this? What's your this? It's literally, they file, like, Korea is one of the most litigious countries in the world.
Is that true?
And if you look at
what is the most litigious? I wonder what will happen if I search this. What is most litigious country in world? I'm kind of curious about that. All right. While the United States is often perceived as a highly litigious country, Germany actually has a higher number of lawsuits per capita, with 123 lawsuits per 1,000 people. Germany is the highest, then Sweden, then United States, then other countries include Israel and Austria. Interesting. And then I'm going to put Korea. Let's see what we get. In South Korea, there was about 6.7 million new lawsuits filed, with civil cases making up 69%. Nice. Of the criminal cases, around 26%. I have not seen this, actually. I mean, Asian countries typically have not that much actual crimes being reported, but they have a very high conviction rate because they kind of just sweat you out until you plead guilty. That's what happens in Japan, and I believe in Korea as well. I'm not sure, though, for Korea. I don't know as much.
Compared to Japan, there's some stats that somebody sent me. The amounts of fake accusations and false accusations in Korea is like by an order of magnitude higher than Japan, a country that's an hour flight away.
Can we see these? Can we see these stats? People in Japan don't typically cause trouble for people because the culture is to keep the harmony, keep the wa. So yeah, the crime is higher in Japan than people think it is. Because a lot of crimes just go unreported, but also Japanese people don't want to cause trouble. And if they can find ways to smooth things over and just get back into, because they just want to go back and live their lives, right? They don't want to file. So I could believe that Korea has a higher amount of civil cases than Japan, but like he's saying, it's like if that's the reason that they got him. It's not the reason. It's because he committed crimes and harassed people. That's why he's getting arrested. It's not because they just love lawsuits in South Korea. It's because you desecrated national icons that are just there to commemorate people that actually suffered. And these, like the comfort women statues in Korea, some of these women are still alive. Okay, they were put into sexual slavery during World War II. These people were people's daughters. These people were people's sisters, their mothers, their wives, their grandmothers. So when you desecrate and like he was rubbing baby oil on them and groping them and twerking on them and doing all kinds of stuff, and also threatening to go piss on those statues for $1,000 if someone donated him enough money. He said $1,000 to go piss on it right now. He said that a couple of days ago. Yeah, when your grandma or your sister or your mother or your daughter went through that, yeah, they might be a little bit upset. And even if you can say like, well, okay, it's just a statue, sure. He caused very real problems to companies with these multiple obstruction of business cases. He caused physical harassment and public harassment, and he also played sexualized recordings in front of children at the Korean equivalent of Disneyland. So this isn't just about hurting people's feelings. This is about causing very real disturbances in people's lives. And now you're going to pay for it. You effed around, and now you're finding out.
In the next segment, he is contradicting himself because
yeah, no, it's just an unfortunate pause. But did you guys see the there was some guy, that absolutely unhinged person on Twitter that was trying to frame this rat girl, like she was a rat girl VTuber or something, and she put up her hand to fix her camera, and he freeze framed that and said that she was throwing up a Roman salute. What an absolute like wanker that guy was.
He is saying that there has been a lot of charges that we don't even know about that has been filed against him, but they have been dropped by the cops.
A lot of charges they've thrown at me that have been dropped. There's been a lot. And even the police told us, like, yo, in Songpro, remember they told us so many of these third-party complaints. They told us so many of these third-party complaints, we dropped them.
Yeah, because if it's a third-party complaint that they don't have standing to, or they may already be in process, they're going to drop them. It doesn't matter how many were dropped. It matters how many are standing against you currently now. And he has currently pled to 3 guilty. He has 2 more that he's going to have to plead guilty or not guilty to on, I believe, around April 7th. And there may be more charges of both obstruction of justice, not obstruction of justice, obstruction of business and public nuisance crimes. And public harassment and stalking that could be coming down the pipeline. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. It's a bit of a surprise. You never know. It's that April surprise is coming for you.
Like, you should be happy thanking us, right?
Career.
In the next segment, he talks about the kidnapping, at least that's what he calls it, of when he got tricked into apologizing in front of the statue. He can't admit that he got owned and outsmarted, but he reveals, and we all knew this, that it was a coerced apology. It was totally fake.
When they set up something where there were a few of those YouTubers after that situation went down when they were camping outside Hank's house. They found me at the other hotel where I showed you the pizza place yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kidnapping is a bit of a stretch. What happened is there were some people, some live streamers or YouTubers in Korea that got him to come into a car, and I think they said they were going somewhere else, but they went to a Korean comfort woman statue, and then they asked him to apologize. He says that this was kidnapping and it was under duress, but Johnny has no problem with pressing people in public. So, I mean, he did get tricked, but why would you say like a week or 2 before your next court date that the public apology you made was insincere? Even if they did trick you, even if they did kidnap you, apologizing in front of the statue is probably a good idea. Now, is it going to convince people you're innocent? No, not really, but it can't hurt, surely. And he's going to go on to say it's pointless to apologize to people online. And that may be true to apologize to like a random audience from the internet. They're never going to take your apology. But a sincere apology to the people, the victims of World War II that went through this, they would probably appreciate that. And it certainly couldn't hurt his case. So why would you say this? Why does he not have this in his mind? Like, he's just making things worse for himself. It's crazy.
They kind of kidnapped me and Hank. And I went through this with my audience. There was an American dude that joined the Twitter space to talk to me. And he was like, I can help you with a lawyer. My wife knows a lawyer. Come like meet me. Like, I want to help you. You're a fellow American. And he picked us up with a car and he drives me and Hank to these YouTubers, like 12 YouTubers surrounding us. Dalgoon's like former soldier buddy, and all these Korean YouTubers. And it's like a live event in Korea. All of them are live, pointing the selfie sticks at us.
Oh no. What's that? You don't like having a selfie stick pointed at you and making your life uncomfortable? You don't like that when your life is inconvenienced by live streamers? Imagine that. Imagine that. Wow. You know what? This is actually pretty annoying to have a camera poked in my face and making my life more difficult. I wonder what that feels like. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a mean and cruel thing to do to Johnny Somali.
Version of C-Axis surrounding me. And they bring us a statue. And they basically make me do like a forced apology video under duress. And Dalgoon's there, and Dalgoon says afterwards, if Johnny didn't do the apology, we were gonna kill him. Like, we were gonna murder this guy.
I really doubt that they would have done that. That's probably just like an idle threat. If that is indeed even true, I don't know if Dalgoon said that, but I would assume it's just intimidation. But it doesn't matter, like I said, because Johnny Somali is very happy with giving death threats and threats of physical harm and SA threats. Like, he literally went up to a female streamer and said that he was going to get his boys and they were going to gang SA her live to her face.
The next segment, he plays the victim and basically
Suffer,
says that
Johnny.
the government
Suffer.
is trying to bring attention to him and to unite the people so they can distract from whatever else is going on with the Korean politics at the moment. Once again, that is an effort to deflect responsibility and to shift it onto
Oh no, I'm a political victim. The Korean government I'm a political victim. What crime did I commit apart from harassing this old lady and throwing noodles and alcohol on her floor while doing something illegal in her store and then telling her to pick it up? What? How could I'm a political prisoner. What do you guys don't understand about this?
something else and try to make it look like there are bigger forces at play.
People in a local district against a common enemy like Johnny instead of an enemy like the government.
Yes, actually, they're using Johnny as a scapegoat to unite people under the Democratic Party.
I mean, this is uniting people. Like, I think every country in the world is united in seeing the joy that somebody that is such a POS like Johnny is getting what he deserves.
Leadership.
So I get kind of.
The leftists are highly against
The
Johnny because
leftists.
Johnny is the uniting factor to basically get people angry.
Wait, isn't that like a communist flag he's got in the background? What is this? This is like a Chinese flag, isn't it?
And see how we punish Johnny for like insulting Korea. See, we're pro Korea now. Support us in impeaching President Yoon.
Do you think the media, because if you look at the media, me and Hank have seen clips on their media. There's NBC News, SBC News, like their versions of CNN and Fox
NPC News? Wait, is that a joke or is there actually an NPC News? I gotta look this up. This is kind of funny. There is an NPC News online. Oh, that's too funny. Oh dear. Oh dear. What's the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? The funny thing you posted that because I just saw one of the where did I post this? I think it was this one. This is so good. Hold on a second. Let me show you this. And then we'll get back. Then we'll get back to the content. Here we go. I love this. I love this edit so much. Like, people say that AI is bad, but then it gives us stuff like this. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? That's so good. That's so good. I want to see puppet versions of everything.
American counterpart, like kind of the same thing over here, their mainstream media, has covered me on national television for hours and hours, millions of views on YouTube channels of these news channels. Sometimes they've done hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 12-hour broadcasts.
So have you. Like, if someone wants to go through and talk about what you've done and see what you've done when you stream for like 8 hours a day or something, yeah, it's going to take a long time. Of course it is. Like, this stream has been going for 40 minutes. We have currently watched 10 minutes of this video. These are just the clips. And this interview in its entirety is like 2 hours. Yeah. To break things down and talk about it and explain it to people. Of course. And also, like, there's nothing wrong with covering a topic that people are interested in. I've seen some of that as a criticism, and I think the criticism mostly comes from jealousy or envy. That people are like, oh my goodness, how could you do another show on Johnny Somali, you rat? It's like, because people are interested in it. People want to talk about it. And it's an ongoing news topic, of course. Of course. Like, Johnny trying to pretend that this is outrageous when his entire business model is about people watching him live for hours on end. Quite funny, innit?
Just talking about me.
In the next segment, he mentions how the media in general are inciting violence against him, that it's not his actions, it's the media's fault.
Before we get into this, Colin M says, hope all your friends are good in Bangkok. Yes, I contacted everyone that I know in Bangkok and they said they're okay. I'm very concerned for Bangkok actually, because like even though I think there was 3 confirmed deaths in Bangkok and about 144 in Myanmar, it's truly a tragedy. But the problem with Bangkok in particular is that the buildings are not designed for earthquakes. Like Japan, every building has like earthquake strengthening and design philosophies revolving around earthquakes, but it's such a common occurrence here. But for Bangkok, they're not. It's super rare occurrence. And realistically, I think that a lot of Thailand and a lot of Bangkok in particular is going to have to demolish a lot of buildings that look fine, but there's going to be ongoing structural damage. This is actually a problem in New Zealand. There was a big cinema called, I want to say it was Hoyt's or something, or no, Reading Cinema. And it was kind of the centerpiece in the Central District business area of Wellington. And it was owned by an American. And after there was a really big earthquake in New Zealand, that was structurally damaged to the point where they couldn't repair it. And the investors from abroad just didn't care about it. And now it's just been sitting rotting there in the middle of the town for the last couple of years. But sorry, that's an unrelated to this. But yeah, everyone I know is okay. But I think that the lasting ramifications of this earthquake are going to be plaguing the country for quite a while. So maybe we can do something nice for, like, maybe someone can get together some fundraising efforts or something, and we can help support that.
Hey, they're like, okay, private sanctions are bad, right? They're like, the YouTubers that are attacking Johnny are also wrong. But Johnny,
why are the YouTubers attacking you wrong? They're just talking about what you did. Don't you want free publicity all publicity is good publicity, right? Until it lands you in prison. A bit unfortunate. A bit unfortunate. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with talking about what people want to hear. Unfortunately for Johnny, it's not so fun being the nail, is it?
He kind of deserves it. So I'm like,
No.
in America,
That's what
like,
NBC said.
That's what NBC News said.
That's what JTBC said.
Yeah.
KBS and the SBS, they just reported it.
Because I even feel like in American media, if you go on CNN, nobody on CNN in America or MSNBC or even Fox News, I don't think Fox News hosts in American media are going to say, yeah, this guy got beat up and like assaulted, but you know what? Obviously it's wrong, but he kind of deserves it. I don't.
I mean, do you disagree with that though? Like, it's not that he deserves it. It's just that F around, find out. He did. He thought he could go take advantage of a people that are very friendly, very welcoming, a high trust society. He could go in there, take advantage of them, and there'd be no repercussions. Well, unfortunately, you met some people that decided that no. They said, you know what? Actually, this is our house, and you're going to follow our rules, and now you're going to suffer for the crimes that you committed. And he's trying to pretend he's a victim for this. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim, guys. How could this happen? This is outrageous. In America, nobody holds me to my actions. I think this is like, this happens to, I think, a lot of, like, I don't want to say that, I don't want to disparage Americans too much. Although, you know, Americans kind of deserve to be poked a little bit sometimes. You know, they're a little bit funny. But no, the average American is very nice, I think. I think the average person in general is very nice. That's why I think the world has succeeded in the way that it has. That I think the majority, at least 51% of people, are very nice people. But there is a problem, I think, in America where people will back down if you say, like, you know, you can use certain things. Like Johnny's trying to use racism as a shield. He's like, in America, that might work. If he's being a nuisance streamer, he's harassing a convenience store or harassing someone on a bus, he can say, well, we're just doing this because you're racist. And a lot of people will back down and they won't press the issue further because they're so terrified of being called a racist. When really, they're only pressing him because he's done something wrong. Now, unfortunately, Asians don't stand for this shit. If you're doing these things in their country, they will hold you accountable. And like I said, people think that Japan didn't hold him accountable. They absolutely did. For the crimes that Johnny committed, he was basically in prison for 90 days. And then he was fined, and then he was deported and banned effectively for life. It was a 5-year ban, but it's effectively for life. Although he may be spending enough time in Korean prison that when he gets out, he'll actually be able to come back to Japan. Who can say? But yeah, you get what you deserve. And people enjoy that because there's so many instances of life where people do bad things and they never get caught. They get away with it. And that makes people angry because we enjoy a sense of justice that keeps society kind of turning. If you do something bad, you get penalized for it. So when you see someone like country hopping to just make bank and get away with everything, yeah, it makes people mad. So when you see this person getting their shit pushed in Korea, going to prison in Japan, and then going to prison in Korea, yeah, it fills you with a sense of that the world is working the way it should. Bad people get what they deserve. And Johnny is a bad person. He's a villain. He deserves everything that comes from him. But yeah, you should leave the police to this. Don't take it. Don't do vigilante stuff, although it is very entertaining. Amateur Ant with a 5 says, why is this guy wearing a cowboy hat? He's trying to misappropriate my white ancestors like Joy Reid wearing a blonde wig. Johnny wears many hats. I guess he couldn't appeal. He couldn't appeal to the MAGA crowd by wearing the MAGA hat, because in the last interview, he literally admitted to this. He said, well, I mean, Trump is taking a view of social media. So if I wear the hat, maybe I'll get away with it. He literally admitted that he doesn't give a shit about MAGA. I think this is just part of his look. Although I think this is actually Hank's hat, isn't it? Isn't this Hank's cowboy hat? I don't know. Maybe he just thinks it makes him look good. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. But yes, FAFO is exactly what's happening here. Yeah, it's the broke back. He can't quit hat. That's the real thing. Can't quit Hank. Oh my! It's
like inciting violence. I feel like the media incited violence against me in Korea.
National TV would not. Local news stations
in America, you're saying,
which are under those national companies, they would.
Because I feel like if the CNN said this guy was assaulted, he kind of deserved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can sue them. They've said that before
in an article.
Okay.
CNN did say that Johnny deserved to get beaten up. Now, Is that true? I mean, if it's true, I think. Hold on a second. Oh, do I not have that loaded up? Shit. Is this story based? Yes, it is. That's what I was looking for. I don't think that CNN really did that. They probably said that he got beaten up because he was acting a fool. But if CNN actually said that Johnny deserved to get the shit beaten out of him, that's very funny. I don't believe it, though. I think they're misrepresenting the truth. Although, like I said, Alex Novell is a bit of a snake. And while I do think he is setting up Johnny, by not pushing back into this and also feeding into his illusions just for the content, it really detracts from his authenticity and his respectability as a documentarian. Like, this is just MTV real world reality television, and he's just egging it on. And that's very successful for some people, but this is not this sort of development cycle where you trick people into thinking you're on their side and then betray them and then snake them. You can only do it a couple times before people catch on. But maybe Johnny is just dumb enough to fall for this. I'd be very surprised if anyone else does again, like they did with Mr. Based.
Well, the media here live on TV, they're like, Johnny Somali was beaten.
How's it
Here's
going,
the footage. Obviously, you guys shouldn't be doing this kind of things in private sanctions. You know what I mean? Let the police do their job. But you know what I mean? He kind of deserves it. So that radicalized other people. That's when the assault started ramping up.
Do you think that
I think what made the assaults ramp up is when you continued to do it. This is so what happened is Johnny went to Korea. He caused all this shit. Then the police pulled him in and he got detained and he can't leave the country. His passport was taken, but then given back, but that doesn't matter because he can't leave until his travel ban is lifted anyway. At this point, he did not decide to stop his behavior and just cool off and wait until everything was done, then leave. He decided to go back to harassing people, go back to smashing bottles in bars, go back to stalking people, go back to antagonizing people. He's taking part in political rallies as well, which I believe is actually you cannot do as a foreigner in Korea. Although personally, I don't find it to be a big issue. But no, he just keeps doing it. Like, there is no remorse. There is no anything showing that he wants to actually change his ways, which is why I say that these are all business expenses. If he gets fined $10,000 and he makes $40,000 off this, it's a business expense. The only thing that won't be a business expense is going to prison and actually serving as an example for other people, because that's the only thing he can really do at this point, is serve as an example so other people actually respect the countries that they visit. Georgia Studio with a 5 says the only reason more and more people are covering this to bring attention to it in the hopes that he'll get a longer sentence. It's absolutely because people on the internet were covering this that Johnny got arrested. Johnny even said in his previous interview, we went through the 20-minute version of it, but when I listened to the whole thing myself, and I'll probably go through and pull out some more stuff from this interview later when I have a time. Johnny literally said he wishes he was a little bit smaller because he could get away with more shit and nobody could notice. And some people, like Suspenders, Slightly Homeless, and a lot of people in the CX crowd, I don't know too much about all of them though, but people that follow Ice Poseidon around, a lot of these people get away with some really bad stuff. And Johnny is correct that there are people out there that are committing worse crimes than him, but that does not absolve you of your own crimes. And some of these things are really sick too, by the way. Like Suspenders, for example, he was getting underage girls drunk and kissing them in Tokyo, but it wasn't covered. And yes, he deserved to go to prison for that. He deserves to suffer because of that. But unfortunately, that's just the way the world works. But again, this does not mean that Johnny's crimes were not committed either. Slightly Homeless and I think also Suspenders again, they were propositioning a 15-year-old girl in Nepal. These are people that Johnny looked up to. These are people that Johnny was friends with. These are people that he collaborated with. In fact, Suspenders was the person that got Johnny into streaming in the first place. In many ways, Suspenders was the first nuisance streamer that was a foreign nuisance streamer anyway in Japan, because he was doing that thing where you'd go into a subway, which are typically quiet and peaceful locations in Japan, and he was playing the loud TTS, the loud thing, and then pressing people, and that's what Johnny did. He saw that. Suspenders encouraged him to do it, and he went and did it himself. Now, Japan does have their own homegrown nuisance streamers, like Japanese people that do this too, and they do get caught on it from time to time. But again, that does not mean that he didn't commit the crimes. You can't just say, "Oh, officer, that person was going 200 kilometers an hour. I was only doing 180. This isn't fair." That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And Georgia Studio with another 5 says, "Let him wear his friend's hat. He'll be wearing a ball gag from his cellmate soon." Yeah, he better start. Getting used to squatting, I would say.
assaults have led to Johnny doubling down harder?
All right, I'm gonna go back. I want to hear the Alex's question there in entirety.
Other people, that's when the assault started ramping up.
Do you think that the assaults have led to Johnny doubling down harder?
In a sense, yes, because
Why would you nod your head? He's like, well, you know, I did something bad, and then people fought back against it, so I decided to double down and do more bad things. Don't agree to that. That's ridiculous. He's like, officer, yeah, I beat up this old lady, but then a Korean guy punched me, so I beat up a second old lady. How could you get, like, it's not fair. No, this is the worst. I can't believe that Hank tries to roleplay as he's a legal professional or something. Absolutely insane. Why would you say this? Maybe Hank just wants to get rid of Johnny at this point. He's already got his, like, he's apparently he's the executor of his estate or something in Korea. Maybe he just wants all of Johnny's shit. Maybe that's the actual answer. Ice Poseidon scammed his own fans for $500 in a meme, 500,000 in a meme coin. Yes, he did. Johnny tried to do it too, but didn't think it worked out as well. Although I haven't checked out the contract, so I haven't seen how much actually people bought that. But this is the thing: is people that get scammed by meme coins, they just don't care. To them, it's all funny money, and I guarantee you, all the people that spent money on the meme coin and lost their money, they still follow Ice Poseidon, and they still would suck his D if they were given the chance. There's just some of these people. Some people kind of deserve to get scammed, and I don't feel sorry for them. Like if you invested in Logan Paul's crypto egg project, you know, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, it was Logan Paul's crypto egg project. Come on now. It was, what were you thinking? Every meme coin is a scam. Every meme coin is a scam. Just put it through your head. Oh, Hawk Tour coin's going to make you rich? No. The only thing you're going to be Hawk Touring is behind the 7-Eleven because your kid's college fund has been gone and you have to make it up to them.
In the next segment, he mentions that he will never apologize because no one would believe it. I mean, that is one way to think about it. I honestly think that if he apologized after the first incident, people would have forgot about him pretty quickly. But that's just my opinion. Take a look at what he had to say.
It's gotten so much attention because of your refusal to like apologize or like take accountability.
yeah,
Even if I did apologize and I go in front of the statue and put a flower and start crying, and who's gonna believe that shit? You never apologize to the internet, bro.
Now, this is kind of true. You should not apologize to the internet or random people for no reason. But when you have legitimately grievanced someone, apology would probably help. And a lot of people just want to see some remorse, especially the people with the Korean statues, right? So it's just like, why would you make fun of people? Like, apologizing, I think, could only help Johnny Somali. Now, it might do nothing, but even if it even does a little bit, it gives him a little bit of sympathy. It might prevent him from going to jail if he had apologized after this. And Hank even says this as well. He's like, well, yeah, if Johnny's apologize was sincere, maybe it would actually help. But Johnny's like, no, why would I apologize? I'm not stupid. He's saying this on live stream. Thousands of, well, I actually don't think thousands of people watching this. I think he's got a view bot because there's no way that there was 7,000 people watching this live on Party. I don't believe that. That's some view bot bullshit. Come on now. But yes, it would help. You have to be sincere about it, though. That is true. But showing he has no remorse whatsoever is not good for his case. Is he finding out the backlash of being a nuisance? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's getting, and he doesn't like it when people are a nuisance to him, which is very funny. And like I said, that's kind of the Schadenfreude that is very enjoyable about his story, is that people like to see a bad guy get what they deserve. That's why so many movies have happy endings, because you enjoy it. It's fun to see someone get what they deserve. Copium would be a great coin. No, it's never going to happen. There's never going to be a meme coin. Although unironically, it kind of works, doesn't it? But no, it's not going to happen. If I ever start shilling a meme coin, please unfollow and disregard everything I say. Okay.
Like you're going to be apologizing for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
also,
That's how I feel about it.
Do you think that if Johnny had apologized right after the statue incident, that people would not be like calling for his death on the internet?
probably yes. I mean,
Why would you say, again, this man is supposed to be helping Johnny? He's like, if Johnny apologized, would it be a good idea? Yes, it would be. Johnny, look at his face. He's like, there's no point in apologizing. And look at those dark under eye circles in Johnny. Like, what's it like PPP says? This is the kind of tired that sleep can't remove. Holy shit, that's dark. You're looking like a. I probably shouldn't. People will take it the wrong way. unironically, he'll be a comfort woman in prison. I mean, it looks like that's what's going to be. And he's going to the foreigner prison. So it's mostly going to be drug smugglers from different countries. A lot of Chinese guys that are very unhappy with Johnny, actually. So not great for him.
I mean, I do think that. However, here's the thing. Why should he apologize, though?
Why should he apologize? Great question. Because he did something wrong. Like, what do you mean by that? Why should Johnny apologize for making an old woman's life miserable? Why should Johnny apologize for destroying, or not destroying, but why should he apologize for disrupting a person's business and taking smelly fish and getting the bus to pull over and making all the old people that are just trying to go play checkers or whatever down at the community hall? Why should Johnny apologize for inconvenience anyone? This doesn't make sense to me. Why should I do that? What would you say? Like, every time they make a statement, you look at their face and you can just see them like, did I say that? I feel like they're playing their lives in third person perspective, where they've got like that the ghost is of their like actual consciousness is watching them and saying like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. No, I said it again. Oh shit. Should stop saying things that pop into the old noggin there, I think. Like, this is not helping. This is not helping. This documentary is absolutely gonna be snaking Johnny. I guarantee it. But I still don't have a very high opinion of Alex Novell.
In the next segment, he touches back on his family and how they're disappointed in him, and it looks like they pretty much gave up. It looks like his mom hasn't given up yet, but the rest of his family has completely given up on him.
Is it hard not having a close relationship with your family while you're going through all of this?
It is. I'm still in contact with my mom. My mom calls me a lot, like almost every other day. My mom.
That's kind of endearing, honestly. Like, I kind of feel bad for his mom that she still cares, and like every mom cares about their son, no matter what they do. It sounds like the dad and the brothers and the sisters have all given up on him, though.
Messaging me, like, worried about me on WhatsApp. You know what I mean? My mom talks to me still, but my dad and my siblings I don't really talk to, because I don't know. I feel like, what is there to say? Like, you're stuck in another fucking country, like you're and you can't leave. Like,
what could they say to you? How about this? I love you. That's what my family says to me. They're like, oh, I'm stuck in a foreign country. Okay, love you. Look after yourself. Take care. Don't do anything stupid. Those are things that family members that love you say. Oh, so this is actually sad. Like, I do feel a little bit bad. I shouldn't, but I do feel a little bit bad at Johnny here, because there is nothing more valuable in life than a family that cares for you. And to not have that is actually a little bit sad for Johnny.
This is the second time this has happened in less than a year, Alex. I just got released out of Japanese prison January.
And whose fault is that? It's like, this just keeps happening to me. I don't understand. This is the second. How could I have such bad luck? It's because as soon as you left Japan, you went to Thailand, and then you got the kick guys come up to you and said, look, if you make a big ruckus in Korea, if you go over there and get a lot of attention for kick.com, we're going to give you a really sweet deal. There's actually clips of Johnny talking to the guys, and they say, like, mute it for a second, we're going to talk about you something. And the prevailing theory is that he got a very lucrative kick offer. Now, they kicked him to the side, to the curb, when they realized that he was bad news. And this is what all these sites will do. This is what Party will do to Johnny Somali eventually. They will eventually ban him, because once they've got enough attention from him, they can ban him and get the good attention for getting rid of this guy. Tujo Studio, big support tonight from the stream, says, from a 10-gallon hat to 10-gallon stomach. In prison, he'll be named Johnny Swallow. That's very funny. I like that.
11, 2024. In January 2025, I'm stuck in Korea. Like, it's like, at some point, my parents are like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? We're not.
Why didn't you think that yourself? It's because of the bag. It's because of the bag. They offered him a big fucking bag of money. And he was like, you know what? Korea is just going to be like Japan. I'll do a couple months in a holding cell, and then I'll leave with a $30,000 profit and a $10,000 fine. It'll be perfect. It's a business expense. But actually, wait a minute. Hold up. They're actually going to charge you. That's actually very funny. No Croc stream today. The only reason I wasn't going to stream today at all, because like I said, I've only got a couple hours free. I got plans today and tomorrow, but I think we'll be back on Monday or Tuesday at the latest. Like I said, I might go over the entire interview, but it's like 2 hours. So, I mean, we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes, and we've only covered 14 minutes. So that it might be an 8-hour stream going over 2 hours of Johnny's content, if we do that. But I feel like the weekend, there's a lot of time for Johnny to commit new things anyway, because he's probably going to go out to Hung Day, get drunk, and cause more problems. So it's kind of like the infinite content glitch talking about Johnny. Kind of funny, though. Yeah, Ice is making a bag. Absolutely. Absolutely, he is.
I'm going to come save your ass every fucking time you do this.
That's actually based. Hold on. Let's play it back.
We're not gonna come save your ass every fucking time you do this.
Yes, this is actually good. This is good. Parents, like, first time your kid makes a mistake, you correct them, you tell them what's wrong. Second time they make the mistake, or if they make that mistake in defiance of what has already been done, you absolutely let them suffer and learn the consequences of their action, because that's the only way he's going to learn. He obviously didn't get enough of a penalty in Japan because he either made enough money or that it was worth it to go back and do for a second round. It wasn't enough. Sometimes you have to cut the string and let them fly in the wind and let whatever happens, happen. So that's actually good parenting. If you get them one chance, second time, well, maybe, okay, you didn't listen to me, find out. Go fuck around. Go find out.
But they've also got to know that you are struggling and suffering mentally, and that's
suffer, Johnny. Suffer.
Kind of why a lot of this has happened to you.
It looks like the filmmaker Alex Novell is pushing that narrative of mental illness alongside with Johnny. I don't think any of this is going to work, but I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
All right, so that's the end of the clip. That was by 15 Minutes of Fame. If you want really quick, good summaries of Johnny's streams that he's doing over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, and up, I guess, until the trial itself. He's going through and watching every stream and then cutting them down to these bite-sized pieces, which is really a service to humanity, because it's quite awful to go through these in their entirety. And let me trust you on that. I've tried. I've done it once, and I'm dreading doing it again. But go subscribe to him if you're interested in that. He's doing the good work. He's doing the Lord's work. Good stuff. Good stuff. Twitter Studio with another 2 says he's gonna be a humpback from bending over so much. Oof. True. He's gonna come out like ground beef, I think, at the end of this. It's not gonna be pretty for him in the jail cell there. But like I said, this is we're on stage 3. So we've had the denial. I'm not gonna get charged. It's just a fish. It's just a nuisance. The anger. Why don't you come fight me in the streets? Why don't you come fight me? Why don't you come fight me? Why don't I press people in the streets? The anger, the bargaining. I've got mental illness. I've got mental illness. Oh no, help me. If you please let me go back. Please let me go back. I'll take the antidepressants. I'll get the psychiatrist. The bargaining has begun. The bargaining. What's next? The depression. We're probably going to see some Minecraft baiting. Like he's like, I'm not going to make it in a Korean. I think that's the next stage. He's going to be, I'm not going to make it in a Korean prison. If it happens, maybe I just wander off into the world. I think that's what's happening next. And then we're finally the acceptance. He's like, give me that plow. It's time to pick cabbages. That's where Johnny Somali is currently on the 5 stages of the grieving process. I hope you enjoyed this quick little an hour's kind of quick, I guess. It's a short stream, midday stream. If you like these midday streams, let me know in the comments or in the liking. And maybe we'll fit in some more going forward. Typically, I stream 7 hours later than this, but I wanted to throw this in. Like I said, I'm going to be busy for the next couple of days, but we'll be back next week. There will be some more croc tent coming up. I'm going to next time we do the croc tent, I will have 3 fully grown adult crocodiles so that we can just go straight into the fun. And I'm working on that as we speak. I took away from my crocodile time just to help you guys out with this stream. But I'm going to go out in a second, so I won't be able to do that for much longer. There will be I think the next croc stream will be like a 12-hour stream. So not like he's measly 8-hour streams. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I will also be covering Johnny Somali as this goes forward, as are many other channels. So you can take your pick. Thank you very much for the support tonight. You can be sure to leave a thanks in the chat. Go subscribe to 50 Minutes of Shame. And if you're a replay watcher, let me know. And thank you for watching. Very good. You guys like this time? Thank you very much. Studio, especially 200 MVP this chat says the bargaining really begins when the cell block chooses who gets him. Very true. And with that, actually, let me see if I'll say peace, but I will just briefly check to see if there's anyone else streaming today that I can restream to. I don't think there's anyone that I know. No, I can't see anyone. All right, guys, that's it for me. Peace. And let me see.
But at least now it can't get much worse.
But it did get worse.